Hi, everyone. I hope this is finding you really well. Happy Sunday. It's the day before Labor Day here in the United States, and so we're pretty happy about that. We have tomorrow off as a holiday. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about Job 4 and what it says in Job 4 and how that relates to a couple of tweets from some atheists on Twitter. And so Job 4 says this: Amid thoughts from visions of the night, and deep sleep falls on men, dread came upon me, and trembling, which made all my bones shake. A spirit glided past my face, the hair of my flesh stood up. It stood still, but I could not discern its appearance. A form was before my eyes. There was silence. Then I heard a voice. Can mortal man be in the right before God? Can a man be pure before his makers? So I see that in there. And then I come upon this tweet, which I will, from a couple atheists who will remain unnamed here. The first one says, saw my sleep paralysis demon tonight. Very jarring to see a cloaked figure walking around with a decomposing face. Haven't seen that in years. Good time. And then an unhappy emoji. And then a second atheist responded, oh man, sending a hug. My sleep paralysis figure was always Satan himself controlling my body while whispering in my ear. I could feel him laying on top of me and scratching his talons all down my body, threatening grape. This was when I was deconverting. And then the first one responded saying, that is horrific. I had a similar with a demon about 15 to 20 years ago. The torment that we experience from the after effects of trauma is just incredible. So I had quite a few responses to that, and I think that's what I would like to show you today. Some of the responses to these initial tweets on my Twitter. And so here we go. Let's go ahead and share the screen. Want to say hi to people in the chat? All right, here we go. So where are we? Okay, so you can see this. Professor Flynn says so. And then I asked him if he had experienced sleep paralysis, and he said he doesn't think so. What does their atheism have to do with it? I said, I have some hypotheses. And so it's continuing on here. Now, the reason why I believe these two women had these experiences is because I too had a similar experience. And so I was in my room one night. This is probably a little over 10 years ago. And I was sleeping. It was in the hours between 12 and 3 p.m. Those are the devil's hours, by the way, in the middle of the night. And it's because it's the inverse of when Jesus was on the cross and when he died officially at 3 p.m. This is the converse. So you usually have these kind of experiences if you do in the middle of the night during the devil's hours. And so people wrote, yes, they are atheists, and they, like many other English speakers, sometimes use colloquial, slangy language in place of longer, more formal, albeit more technically precise language. Searching for God says very unpleasant stuff. Gustavo Gomez says, yes, they know God, but they wouldn't worship him as God or even give him thanks. And then they began to think up foolish ideas of what God was like. As a result, their minds become dark and confused. And then Science Curiosity says, sleep paralysis is a real thing, but the visions you see during it are random. It doesn't mean the things you see are real. Then we have a response here from Baby Mara. Many atheists, not all, actually believe some sort of spiritual things. There are so-called Chinese atheists, but they believe in luck and ancestor spirits. I believe many atheists aren't actually atheists. They're just disappointed with religions or God. And so we have a couple others. Ken's Dream Dungeon says, sharing their hallucinations. What's your point? And this one says, all that tells me is that they don't believe in religious delusion. So I had some responses to this initial video. And so, again, it's a very terrifying experience. I have others who have also had the experience. I've talked to Randall Rouser. He shared the experience that he had on my channel, very similar to their experiences. I have also heard from other atheists who said they had similar experiences, like Steve McRae. So I heard from him. And I just said, it's just something that occurs. And it's very consistent with Christian thinking, because in Christianity, we do believe in the presence of a spiritual realm. We believe that there are angels and there are demons. And we believe that, according to people like Father Padre Pio, who is, he's passed away, but he was a Catholic priest. Padre Pio is a saint, and he says that there are more demons in the world than there are people. There's about twice as many demons in the world as people. He has also discussed having encounters with people from purgatory who's he's prayed for and helped them to break the chains of purgatory and get into heaven. So that is something that's interesting. Now, until the present times, everyone had a supernatural view of the world. It is only in recent times, the last couple hundred years, when we have people claiming that everything can be explained in naturalistic terms or materialistic terms. We don't believe that. And so that's something. It goes back to even Mesopotamia. Now, in Mesopotamia, around 2400 BC, they talked about these spirits. That was one spirit called incubus, which was a male spirit, and a female spirit called succubus. That was also going back to that time in Mesopotamia. We've seen references to demons all throughout the Bible, Old Testament and New, and especially in the New Testament. We see references to demons who know Jesus' name, and they're worried that Jesus was coming to end the world. And so we're still in these end times. The last 2,000 years are in the end times, and we're still wondering when that's all going to break. So that's something that's pretty important. Now, I've got some skeptics along with Xiami in the chat. I see Professor Flynn says it's people's pain and distress. Yeah, it is distressful. And it happened to me, and I can tell you how you can fix it really quickly. And it's never happened to me since. When this demon came out of a closet, a big black sort of fuzzy shape, it was extremely cold, completely devoid of light, completely devoid of any love at all, pure evil. And it tried to suffocate me. And it did that for a while. And I sat there and I said the Our Father and the Hail Mary over and over and over and over until I found it being pulled off of me. Yes, it was traumatic. But I can also say there is a cure. You can free yourself from any of this kind of stuff if it's occurring with you, if you say the Our Father and the Hail Mary. In fact, the Hail Mary is incredibly powerful. She is the one the demons hate the most because she's a woman, for one, and she's a very virtuous woman. And she has a massive amount of patience and love and purity and humility. And it's her humility that really drives demons crazy, according to numerous exorcists. I've heard that from quite a few. And so that's something that also can occur. So I had that experience, which is why my mind was pretty open to other people having similar experiences, and why I'm willing to share the experience that I have, because I think it can help others to know that, yes, you can avoid all of these experiences by aligning yourself with Christianity and with God and with Mother Mary and Jesus. That's what you can do. It's a really powerful thing. Now, the people who are on Twitter are all saying it wasn't real, but it's interesting is they say it's hallucinations. Is it just a coincidence? Really? It was funny with the movie Nefarious, because if you haven't seen that movie, the exorcists, numerous exorcists have said that is the most realistic demon possession that's out there, that's been put into the movies. So in the thing, it's funny because the light flickers in a really funny way, and the demon says, oh, probably just a coincidence. Same idea. It's just a coincidence that we all happen to have these experiences where we see these black shadowy figures. Just a coincidence. Just nothing to see here. Go away. It just happens to be a black shadowy figure that is pretty scary. And so that's one of the things. And yeah, type 1 says, I know many people who've experienced it. Shami says the supernatural is real. Type 1 says sleep paralysis is definitely a real thing. Absolutely. You can look it up. It's definitely a real thing. And so, and it's terrifying. So I feel really badly for any of you who've experienced it. But as I told you, there's a way to get past it. And so I want to thank everybody for coming in today. Please like, subscribe, and come again. And just remember, whether you eat, drink, or whatever you do, do it all for the glory of God. Thank you.